Hey everybody, this is Jeff from the Great Heights and Barely Controlled Chaos, and let's talk fence for a couple of minutes. Use this pig panel, cattle panel, it's kind of a mixture of both here, a lot with our animals, a lot with the pigs. It is relatively easy to move. I say relatively, it requires pounding posts and pulling posts out and dragging these around. They're kind of heavy. They're not super heavy. It's not horrible. It's certainly not permanent fence that you're trying to move. This is kind of a pain, but it does work. Most of the time. We've had some trouble the last couple of days with pigs getting out, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What we've done tonight is we used a couple of extra panels. The way that we've got this set up, we have a few extra panels. Let me walk around here and show you. They were over here, and you can see they kind of tore that area up nice there. But we've got these two extra panels here that we just pulled out. We just closed that one up. Basically, it was out there. We closed it. And then now we've got these two panels. What I did was I took the other panels that we had been using for the males pen, because we moved the males back in here. That's another story, and I'll tell you that in a minute or two. But what we did is we took some of the panels that we were using for the males and we added them back here. We took two of them here, and then we opened up these two panels that were covering this area right here. So the idea is that they'll now have about 4 panels worth of forage to eat, along with the grain that we feed them every day. So that's step number 1. What's going to happen is in a week or so, probably less, they will have eaten all of this. And so we need to expand this. And the idea is we take those 2 panels that were back there, the 2 panels that were on the back side of this pen, and we'll put them right here. And then we'll open up this panel right here, and that'll be that side of this. So that then they'll start moving down this way. This whole side of the yard was intended to be theirs, but it didn't work out, mostly because I started to put the fence up. We ended up using the poles for something else. It just didn't work out the way I wanted to. So we're just going to keep moving these panels through this side of the yard. Well, that is more of a pain in the butt than having a semi-permanent fence where they can come in and out, or that they'll have a larger area. It does mean that we kind of are rotationally grazing. So they'll eat this whole area. They'll move over here slowly. And then by the time they're done, hopefully this area will be grown back in again, and we can start moving them back here. This will probably be their winter home because there's a nice tree there for shelter. Plus, we'll bring their shelter, the one that Gabe built, in here. So hopefully we'll have that all worked out, and that'll work out well for them for the winter. So let's go talk about goat fencing now. So while I'm walking up there, why am I talking about fencing today? Fencing has kind of been the bane of our existence for the last couple of weeks, where we've been fighting with the animals, various fences and things that we were trying to do. So I told you I was going to tell you about the male pigs and the female pigs. Originally, we'd separated the males and the females because that one female, the big one, is very much pregnant. She's going to deliver soon. We've never had this boar around piglets, and sometimes they get kind of funny about it. I don't think that this one, he's so gentle all the time, I don't think he's going to be a problem. The other problem is because we had the males and the females separated, and they've been together their whole lives, they were getting out and going and joining each other constantly. I mean, like every day, multiple times a day. Not good. And they would just run back to the other one, and or they would just run back and forth between them. But it would take an hour or so to put them all back. And so we decided, done with this, we're not going to do that anymore. I was saying, they kept trying to visit each other, basically. And so after a week of chasing them back and forth, we just kind of gave up on that. All right, so now that I'm over here by the goats, let me show you what's going on with them. We had them in this electric fence netting, and it worked for a week or two. They were kind of paying attention to it. They'd get out once every couple of days, and it was once a day, and then it was like constantly. We put them in, this is the last spot we actually put it in, and they tangled it up and made a big mess of it, even though we gave them all kinds of grass to eat back there. That's lots of stuff for them to eat, grass and trees and everything, and they just wouldn't go in, wouldn't stay in. So we switched back to this. Again, not my favorite thing in the world to do because it is harder to move. And with more goats means that they aren't eating more. Speaking of more goats, if you haven't been watching the shorts, which I highly suggest, we have 3 new goats. We have this one. That's a female. That's a wether. And then back there in the back is another female, a younger female. A family that one of my sons works with had these 3 goats. They just decided they weren't going to do goats anymore. They all seem to be very nice goats, but we have 3 new goats. So, yeah. Hi. This one is super friendly. Hi. He likes to be pet. I think he's deaf, partially because he doesn't seem to have the ears there. I don't know the story behind that, but he also doesn't respond to sound, so I think he's deaf. That's okay. This one seems to be, absolutely normal, and that one does too. So we're just trying to see what's going on with them. So the biggest problem, normally I wouldn't care too much if the goats were getting out a little bit. That doesn't bother me too much until that one starts being a butthead. And he is a butthead when he wants to be. So we don't let, once he starts doing that, it becomes a problem. So we ended up having to put them in this fence, not only because they were wandering around, but because, like I said, him. He's just being protective of his females, and I get that, but yeah, I don't want him headbutting the kids or anything like that. So yeah, that's where we are with the goats. So they were put in here last night. It looked like that last night. It looks like this today. So they're going to get another day or 2 out of this, and then we're going to have to move them again. And I'll probably just put them right back here in this corner, and let them eat that as well, and then move them over here next. And we do have a couple of extra panels for them over here as well. So we can make that work. See that little female? She's the only one who can fit through the fence panels still. And she can just barely get through there. So I think probably by next week she won't be able to do it. Her cousin, who was born after her, cannot fit through the panels anymore. Also, Butterscotch here. He is such a butthead. He will actually eat Butterscotch's food. So we have to get Butterscotch out, let Butterscotch eat his food, and then we'll put him and the goats back, the water in at the same time. But yeah, so okay. So these fence panels are not the greatest because they're not as easy to move. They are relatively mobile. They're not hard to move either, really. They're just work. Everything's just work. If you have the right number of panels and you do the work, then it's not too hard. But it's always just work. So we'll continue with this saga. We'll continue using these fence panels and just doing what we're doing. And moving the pigs and moving the goats pretty much the same way. Take 2 more panels, put them over on this side over here, that far side over there. open the panels up, open up that third panel, and then you've got another square of panels to go, and then you can just keep edging down the woods here, and that's kind of what we're going to do with them. At least that's the plan at the moment. So, yeah, goats, pigs, fence. If you enjoy our videos, please give us a thumbs up, and make sure you comment down below, join the conversation, and let us know what you think about panels, fence panels, moving fences. It's just always a gamble about what you're going to have to do and what you're going to do. These are much easier. Like I said, these fences are much easier to move. But if the goats are ignoring it, even if you got it electrified, it's not useful. So anyway, please like I said, give us a thumbs up, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. And we'll talk to you next time.